Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk to you about the repeal of Roe versus Wade and whether or not it actually helped stop abortions from taking place. Okay, you all probably know about Roe versus Wade was that ridiculous Supreme Court decision back from 1973, the one which gave women this supposed right to murder their children, okay, a right to abortion, okay? But finally, that came tumbling down in 2022. Okay, that all happened because of the Dobbs decision, which came from the Supreme Court once again. They revisited the issue, and it was in the case of Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization, if you weren't familiar. Now, of course, when that happened, we heard screaming, we heard shouting from both sides of the aisle, from both Democrats and Republicans, conservatives and liberals alike. On the one side, you had the Democrats. It was all doom and gloom, right? Okay, women were going to be thrown back in chains. It was literally the Handmaid's Tale. Women were going to be forced to have babies, the horror of it all. Now, on the opposite side, you had the conservatives. It was all joy and happiness. There was this elation that Roe had finally been torn down. It was finally going to fall. We were told that abortion was no longer legal, or that it would at least be banned in certain red states, right? But in reality, what happened was the issue was kicked back to the states. Okay, it was for the people within each of those states to decide for themselves whether or not they wanted it to be legal. Now, for the record, I don't agree with that. I don't like that line of thought. I don't believe the states or the people of those states should be voting on this issue. Okay, we already have the 5th and 14th Amendments to the U.S. Constitution, and both of them state that no person shall be denied the right to life. Okay, you can look up the text of those amendments later. Now, because of those amendments, it should automatically be illegal everywhere in the U.S. Okay, the only problem is we have a lot of science deniers in this country who conveniently pretend that the baby who's kicking in that mom's womb isn't really a person. They use that same dehumanizing logic of the Southern plantation owners for their slaves, that they're not really people. They're my property, right? It's the same degrading terminology that the Nazis used when speaking of the Jews. So they claim the 5th and 14th Amendments don't apply. Okay, but back to the point. After that Dobbs decision, the abortion issue was kicked back to the states. Okay, some of those states, 13 I believe, they had these trigger laws in place that should have gone into effect immediately after Roe's fall. And from the Republicans and the Democrats, from pro-life leaders, we were told that abortion bans were coming. That now we would not be able to get abortions in certain states. Okay, but what really happened? Have abortions been banned? Are babies being protected from slaughter due to pro-life laws? Absolutely not, okay? First off, in many of these Republican states, they don't even protect all the babies there. Some say they ban abortions except in the case of the mother's life, okay? But that's nonsense, okay? There's no such thing as an emergency abortion to save the life of the mother. Is there ever the need for an emergency C-section because the baby and or the mother are not doing well? Absolutely, that is a real thing, okay? But when that mother's life is in danger, you deliver the baby early. That's what you do, okay? Then you do everything within your power to save both the mother and that child. You're supposed to do no harm, like the Hippocratic Oath says, okay? So you don't just jump straight to killing that child. That doesn't save anybody, okay? But some states, they allow abortion for the health of the mother. Others, though, they allow it in case of rape and incest, which doesn't make any sense either, okay? That isn't pro-life, it is murder, just like every other abortion. No human being, no child should be killed for the crimes of its father. Okay, but even in some of these, quote, red states where pro-lifers are in control, babies conceived via rape and incest are still slaughtered. Okay, but that's not even the worst part. In the most hardcore red pro-life states out there, abortion has continued at pretty much the same pace as it was before Roe v. Wade ended. The only difference is, instead of visiting abortion doctors' offices in their hometown, or maybe driving across state lines to get one, now these women are just ordering abortion pills online. They're taking these pills in the safety of their own homes, they're killing their babies, and it's never been more convenient or more easy for them to do so. And why is this all happening, even after Roe v. Wade was struck down? Well, it's because pro-life leaders, these pro-life organizations and politicians, they refuse to hold mothers accountable. Okay? Even when they try to pass these laws outlawing abortion, they put exceptions in there to say the laws don't apply to the mothers. Okay? So it's murder if the abortion doctor does it, but if the mother orders some pills online and stands on the front porch of the police precinct while taking them, It's perfectly fine. Okay? Pro-life leaders, they don't want to hold mothers accountable for killing their children. They talk a big game when they want your money, okay? But actions speak louder than words. And time after time, pro-life politicians, they kill these bills that would actually ban abortions. Bills that would hold all people accountable. And so, that's why we're here where we are today. The fall of Roe v. Wade was supposed to bring great things, but instead, nothing has really changed. Abortions are still happening, women are still celebrating the slaughter of their children, and they're getting off scot-free. Abolitionists like myself are not the same as pro-lifers, though. We actually want the true abolition of abortion. We want it to be banned in every single state, and we want all guilty parties held responsible. We believe in equal protection for all babies, born and unborn. We support equal justice under the law. If you want to get behind a movement of like-minded folks, of those who are morally consistent, then look up people like Russell Hunter from Abolitionist Rising. Look up Bradley Pierce from the Foundation to Abolish Abortion. Or just look up Abolish Human Abortion. There's lots of great organizations out there. I really encourage you to look into that, okay? These pro-life laws and these pro-life politicians are not doing what they claim to do, okay? So get behind the abolitionists, get behind the cause, and let's do something to end abortion. Okay, that is our video for the day. If you enjoyed it, if you liked it, please hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and share away. Y'all have a great day. Until next time.